Right now at noon, an investigation involving a hazmat team is underway in Madison. What we know so far there. Plus, President Trump returns from the G7 early to monitor the latest in the conflict between Israel and Iran. What the administration is saying about next steps. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Josh Spreiter. Breaking news as we come on the air this afternoon. Janesville police are reporting a shots fired incident at this hour. According to Rock County Dispatch, the shooting happened in the 2500 block of Holiday Drive. It was first reported around 10:45 this morning. Right now, there is a large police presence and people are being asked to stay away from the area. We have crews on the way to the scene at this moment. Stick with News 3 Now and channel3000.com as we learn new developments on this story. Now to first warn weather, as southern Wisconsin has several more storm chances this week. That and along with the hot and humid conditions. Meteorologist Jacob Montesano is out on the weather patio. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Josh, and yeah, you know how we do the noon show 3 times a week? Well, this is the hottest I felt out here on the noon show so far this year. The sun is shining. We're not seeing any rain right now, and we are going to see rain later, but those temperatures are going to continue warming up just a little bit. Definitely hot and humid out here, but let's take a look at the chance of rain. Now, we are going to see on and off cloud cover throughout the afternoon, but the rain won't enter our area until closer to around 5 to 6, maybe even a little bit after that, and it will start in the form of some isolated showers and storms, but then as we get closer to sunset and a few hours after, we'll see more consistent rain move into the area, and that's going to continue overnight and on Wednesday. And for Wednesday, we still have an alert day in the forecast for the likelihood of heavy rain, possibly throughout the entire day. Now, let's talk about the temperatures. Already 80, and as I mentioned, this feels the hottest it's been during the noon this year. I think this is the first time it's been already in the 80s this time of the day. How about 90 already in southeastern Wisconsin? Definitely a warm one out here. And as we take a look at the dew points, upper 60 dew points, so you can kind of feel a little bit of the humidity. Not awful, but certainly, you know, a little uncomfortable out here for sure. And as we go throughout the afternoon, we're not going to see a lot of rain until closer to the evening, so we're going to continue to see sunny skies and very warm temperatures. Highs will be in the middle 80s, could even get to the lower 90s for a few locations. Now, as we head into the overnight hours, we're going to continue to see mild lows, but we're going to see plenty of rain tonight and tomorrow. I'll track through the forecast on that coming up a bit later, but when all is said and done, we could see around 1 to 2 inches of rain at least for some areas.
All right, Jacob, we'll see you later in the broadcast. Thank you. Continuing coverage now, the Department of Justice is leading a hazmat investigation on Madison's west side. Officials say there is no danger to the community. Madison Fire Department confirms it happened on Skyline Drive near Boundary Park Monday. Madison Fire and Madison Police also responded. Right now, Madison voters in District 1 are heading to the polls to decide who will fill a vacant seat on the Dane County Board of Supervisors. On the ballot, Adrian Lamprin, a law office manager, and legislative assistant Colin Baruchak. Affordable housing is the central issue in the race. Former District 1 Supervisor Elizabeth Doyle resigned because she could no longer afford rent in the downtown area. News 3 Now sat down with both candidates for a forum earlier this month. You can find the full conversation plus voting information on channel3000.com. The Wisconsin Supreme Court is siding with Attorney General Josh Kaul over a law passed by Republicans. The court ruled 7-0 that requiring the Attorney General to get permission from a Republican-controlled legislative committee to settle certain civil lawsuits was unconstitutional. The law was created back in 2018 after Democratic Governor Evers and Attorney General Josh Kaul beat Republican incumbents. Republican Governor Walker at the time signed the bill into law on his way out the door, weakening the powers of both offices. Attorney General Josh Kaul issuing the following statement on the decision, saying, quote, "The Wisconsin Department of Justice will be able to more efficiently resolve the cases that are impacted by this decision, including civil actions enforcing our consumer protection laws and civil actions enforcing our environmental protection laws." President Trump is now back in Washington this afternoon, monitoring the latest developments between Israel and Iran. More than 200 people in Iran have been killed so far, and at least 24 have been killed in Israel. Natalie Brand is at the White House.
A cloud of black smoke billowed over the central Israeli city of Herzliya as Iran and Israel continue to trade strikes, while Israel's air defense is intercepting many of the missiles. Some were getting through. An Iranian missile slammed into a block of apartments Monday.
I'm not prepared. Israelis don't want terror. We want peace.
The Israeli military says it continues to target military sites in Iran. But blasts on Monday also shook Iran state TV during a live broadcast. President Trump on social media urged people in Tehran to evacuate.
I just want people to be safe.
The president, speaking to reporters on Air Force One this morning, said he decided to leave the G7 summit early to monitor and discuss developments in person.
The Pentagon has increased its defensive posture in the region, saying protecting American forces is the top priority. But officials tell CBS News the U.S. is not joining Israel offensively in its military operation.
President Trump said he wants what he called a real end to Iran's nuclear program.
Look at it better than a ceasefire. We're not looking for a ceasefire. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple.
At Iran's border with Iraq, CBS News' Holly Williams spoke to Iranians who are stockpiling food and gas, some saying they believe the Iranian regime is frightened. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
In a statement issued overnight, the group of 7 nations expressed support for Israel's right to defend itself and labeled Iran as a source of instability in the Middle East. The State Department of Financial Institutions is putting out new guidelines on Bitcoin ATM operators. Those kiosks popping up all over the state are causing problems for many. Bitcoin ATMs, or BTMs, are still relatively new. For that reason, they've been largely unregulated. From 2023 to 2024, the FBI reports a 99% increase in complaints filed about crypto scams. They've also seen a 31% increase in related financial losses.
In terms of finding these people and making it right, it's incredibly difficult because cryptocurrency, you can be largely anonymous. So you don't know really who you're sending the money to. And they could use that wallet for one transaction and then just create a new wallet for their next.
Bitcoin ATM operators now have to limit transactions to $2,000 a day per customer. They must also post a warning in front of their BTM and maintain anti-fraud policies and procedures. You can find more information at aarp.org/Wisconsin. New bipartisan legislation aims to raise the federal minimum wage for the first time since 2009. Right now, the current minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. The proposal would more than double that rate. Republican Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri is partnering with Democratic Senator Peter Welch of Vermont to introduce that legislation.
The minimum wage hasn't increased in 15 years. I just think it's basic justice. It's time to give American workers a raise.
The Congressional Budget Office previously looked at what a similar hourly increase would do to the economy. They found some low-wage workers could become jobless as business owners would hire fewer employees due to rising labor costs. Happening today, YWCA Rock County will host the ribbon-cutting ceremony for their new Early Learning Center in Janesville. YWCA Rock County says the center is part of their ongoing commitment to empowering families and strengthening communities through accessible early childhood education. Their hope is that it will increase availability of affordable childcare in the area. Today's ribbon cutting will take place from 5 to 6:30 this evening. That's at 1735 South Washington Street in Janesville. You'll be able to tour the new space and meet the staff. The center opens June 30th. Enrollment is open, but space is limited. If you're interested, you're asked to call 608-752-5445, or you can also go to their website on your screen right now. The city of Beloit is rescheduling its public meetings on bike lanes. The meeting originally planned for this week will now take place on June 25th. The proposal includes multiple bike lanes on Park Avenue from Broad Street to Bayless Avenue. Community members can learn about the plans and provide feedback during the meeting. It will be held at the Beloit Water Resources and Engineering Facility from 5 to 6 p.m. next Wednesday. A follow-up meeting is scheduled for Monday, July 7th. Coming up next on News 3 Now at noon, how Duncan continues to cross over into the beauty realm, plus why Senate Republicans are unveiling changes to the GOP budget and border bill.
Senate Republicans have unveiled their changes to the massive House-passed GOP budget and border bill, dubbed the One Big Beautiful Bill. Among them, the Senate proposes extending the state and local tax deduction, or SALT, at $10,000, a big drop from the House's proposed $40,000 cap. Republican senators are also calling for steeper cuts in Medicaid provider taxes, which are used by the states to help fund their share of the program. A changed bill would have to go back to the House for final approval if it passes the Senate. Corner Bakery is the latest chain to offer delicious discounts to customers. Some croissant breakfast sandwiches now start at only $3.99. For those needing a lunch fix, fans of the popular DC chicken sandwich can get it for just $4.99. And Dunkin' continues to cross over into the beauty realm. The donut chain is teaming up with Tarte Cosmetics on a line of juicy lip formulas inspired by Dunkin's Refreshers drinks. The collection is already available at Tarte online. The collab also hits Ulta Beauty next week. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Jesse Mitchell.
Here's a look at the current stock numbers at the noon hour. The Dow is down 134 points, NASDAQ down 114, and the S&P 500 down right now 23. Our Call for Action volunteers are in the building taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. Call for action at 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call-for-action. We have your farm numbers straight ahead along with the first warn forecast. Then later on Live at 4, Dr. Jeff Potoff on how a lack of sleep could impact your teen's health. Pam Yankee is out of the radio barn today for Farm Tech Media Day in Bear Creek. So here are your farm numbers. Right now, the Legislative Black Caucus is holding their annual Juneteenth celebration at the state capitol. This year's theme, Voices of Freedom, Justice, and Motivation Leading with Purpose. The event highlights the narrative of those who fought for freedom and continue to shape America. The caucus is honoring two keynote speakers, La Crosse Mayor Shondell Washington Spivey and Racine County Judge Jamie McClendon. They are the first black leaders to serve in their respective roles. Well, those storm chances remain. Here's First Warn meteorologist Jacob Montesano with the latest track. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Josh. Yeah, we're going to continue to see almost a daily chance of some thunderstorms. And Wednesday alone is when we're going to see the heaviest rainfall, where we still have an alert day for that heavy rain. But then as we get towards next weekend, the story will be the temperatures, as highs will likely be at least near 90 degrees, if not into the lower 90s. Now, let's first talk about that alert day. Again, it is for Wednesday. Heavy rain and a few strong storms. There also is a very small chance we could see an isolated tornado, but my guess is the biggest hazard will simply just be the heavy rainfall. Now, we're going to continue to see the chance, at least a small chance, of severe weather, and that's going to kind of continue tonight and this evening, where we do have a marginal risk for much of the area. And then for Wednesday, marginal risk for Madison and areas to the south and east. Southeastern Wisconsin does have a slight risk for severe weather. And then for Thursday, although we're not going to see a ton of rainfall, we still have a marginal risk for severe weather, as we could see a few isolated thunderstorms pop up in any given location, although a lot of the area, it's very possible, misses out on the rain entirely for Thursday. So here's a look at the forecast for the rest of today. Could see some of those pop-up showers and storms begin during the evening, but we'll see more rain once we get to the overnight hours on a consistent basis, where we see those scattered showers and thunderstorms move in. And then for much of Wednesday, we're going to continue to see a few rounds of these showers and thunderstorms, likely producing heavy rain at times. And as I mentioned, we could see some strong storms, especially for areas southeast of Madison. This is going to continue throughout the afternoon. Once we get towards the evening, western counties will likely see that rain come to an end, and from west to east, it will move out of the area. So places to the east will see the rain last a bit longer, but Madison may not see that rainfall by the time we get to around 6 to 8 p.m. But we're still going to see plenty of rainfall before that. Now, as we continue into Thursday, we're going to start out dry, but the chance of rain does look to continue for Thursday afternoon. Just a few isolated showers and storms are possible for that time frame. And then as we get towards Friday, we are going to see another chance of those showers and thunderstorms, but not quite as high as what we're going to see on Wednesday. So continuing to look at the amount of precipitation that is expected over the next 7 days, we are going to we're continuing to project a lot of it, around 2 inches for much of the area. And this also is mostly going to be through the work week, because over the weekend we're not expecting as much rainfall. So a lot of this rain will come over the next couple of days. So taking a full look at the 7 to 10 day forecast, we do have that alert day for Wednesday, as we've been talking about. We're going to see plenty of rainfall. Could see a few strong storms as well. Thursday, small chance of some storms in the afternoon once again for Friday. For the weekend, though, it does look dry, but it is going to be hot. Highs could hit the lower 90s, as we've been talking about. That will continue for Monday. Once the rain moves back into the area for the middle of next week, we are going to see the temperatures drop a little bit, but still very June-like, as highs will be near 80. So really going to see those summer-like conditions over the next week with the rain, and on top of the rain, it will likely create some pretty humid conditions, and those overnight lows are going to be pretty mild as well. How about the overnight low for Saturday and Sunday? Middle 70s at night. So yeah, that's definitely summer-like temperatures over the weekend.
Summer is here. All right, Jacob, thank you. Well, the Milwaukee Brewers are starting a big 3-game series against their arch rival, the Chicago Cubs, tonight, and you'll be able to watch it live on Television Wisconsin. Right now, the Crew sits 5.5 games behind the Cubs. Chad Patrick will take the mound for the Crew, while Ben Brown gets the start for the Cubs. The two teams last met in May in Milwaukee, with the Cubs winning 2 of the 3 games. Tonight's game is set to start at 7:05 on Television Wisconsin. That is channel 3.2. Well, there are less than 2 weeks left to vote for Madison Magazine's Best of Madison. This year has more than 150 categories on people, places, and things to do. You can only vote once in each category. Voting is open until June 30th. Those winners will be announced in the October edition of Madison Magazine. Now let's see what Howard's up to in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
As we head into summer, one of the last things we want to do is turn on our oven to bake a cake. But that doesn't mean we should do without. So let me share with you a cake that is so light and refreshing, it's summertime perfect. And there's no baking required. We start by cutting a store-bought angel food cake into slices and arranging them in a baking dish. After dissolving orange gelatin in some hot water, we stir in a bit of cold water, give it a stir, and slowly pour it over the cake. Now this goes into the fridge to chill up while we add some orange zest to some vanilla pudding. And for the part that makes this all creamy, we fold in some whipped topping. All that's left to do is spread this over the cake, and back into the fridge it goes. And whether we use regular or sugar-free ingredients, we really can't miss, since this is so big on taste. Top each piece with a slice of orange and grab yourself a fork. You see, with the fresh taste of the orange, the creaminess of the topping, and the cake, which is as light as air, you won't even feel guilty going back for seconds. I hope you'll go online and get the recipe for our Orange Dream Angel Cake, so you can enjoy a freshly made cake without lighting your oven. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a dreamy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Here's Jacob with a final check.
Thanks, Josh. We're going to be seeing several chances of rainfall the next couple of days. It will start this evening into the early overnight hours, and then we're going to continue to see that rainfall for much of Wednesday, even a small chance of rain Thursday and Friday. And then as we get towards the weekend, we're looking fairly dry, with those high temperatures reaching the lower 90s, overnight lows in the 70s. So we'll certainly feel like summer once we get there, with more rain for the middle of next week.
Breaking news we brought you earlier. The scene is secure in Janesville after those shots were fired. No credible threats to the community. We'll have the latest up on channel3000.com, where we are always streaming 24/7. Thanks for joining us.